Here we see Fusion GPS, the entity paid by the Democratic Party, working with the FBI, utilizing the very same tools that the Russian Federation uses to disrupt democracy around the world.
Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz blasting the FBI after shocking revelations in the transcripts of Fusion GPS co-founder Glenn Simpson's interview with a Senate committee. It looks like Simpson testified that Trump dossier author Christopher Steele told the FBI back in 2016 that he feared Russian officials could be in a position to blackmail then candidate Trump. Congressman Gaetz joins me now. Do you think that, Christopher Steele came to the FBI with this story out of concerns for American democracy, or was he motivated by something else?
This was an attack on American democracy, and it fits in with the blueprint that Russia uses around the world. What Russia does from Macedonia to South America is that they go and dig up or make up embarrassing things about people running for office. They leak that to the media, get it into the public square, and then they use that as a basis to undermine the very notion of democracy and elections and political candidates that voters can choose. In this case, though, it appears that Russia's most willing partner was the Democratic National Committee and potentially the FBI working with Glenn Simpson and Christopher Steele. So that's why it's so important to evaluate the typical manner in which Russia approaches elections and how they may have been trying to undermine our democracy and our duly elected president, Donald Trump.
Do we know what exactly the FBI did with this information from Christopher Steele? Because the indications are that they said, oh, yeah, we kind of already knew that, and you've just backed up our concerns.
Well, that seems to be the story now, but if we look at the text messages around this time between Peter Strzok and his mistress Lisa Page, we see a deliberate attempt, a deliberate execution of a plan to leak information to the Wall Street Journal to embarrass the president. So again, using the very tools that Russia uses to disrupt elections, but here the characters, the players, are the people working with the FBI and the Democratic National Committee to leak this information before verifying it and before knowing whether or not it was true at all.
So Dianne Feinstein released this information obviously because she thinks that it, embarrasses Republicans, or because it embarrasses the FBI?
Well, I think Dianne Feinstein might be facing a tough primary in California and just wanted to rile up her liberal base, but it is a true departure from the procedures we use in the Congress to exercise oversight, to establish a meeting that is in a confidential setting and then to just have one member unilaterally release the information. That's the type of thing that undermines the future oversight obligations of the Congress. It limits our tools to be able to find the truth and tell the American people. And it's only a consequence of congressional investigations and congressional subpoenas that we've finally gotten all the evidence that shows the incredible bias that seemed to favor Hillary Clinton and prejudice against Donald Trump.
How confident are you that the Bureau or that the Congress is going to be able to get to the bottom of all of this and figure out what really happened here?
Well, we as a Congress have that obligation. We've already had a number of sworn interviews in the House Judiciary Committee. There will be more, and I suspect that as we continue to connect the dots, we'll see that there was no collusion with the Trump campaign in Russia, but that there was tremendous collusion with the Democratic Party and the FBI to dig up these false facts, and it may have been Fusion GPS that was working with Russians to develop a fake fact pattern to undermine our democracy. That's what we've got to stop going forward.
Also in the testimony, again in this testimony that Dianne Feinstein had released, there is testimony that the FBI had a source inside the Trump campaign. How confident are you in that?
Well, I think that George Papadopoulos probably got drunk in a London pub one night and made mention of the fact that Vladimir Putin did not like Hillary Clinton, something that all of the world knew since Hillary Clinton had called for his ouster and was encouraging protests against him. So I don't think it's more likely that a guy drunk in a London pub launched a counterintelligence investigation than it is that the fact that the FBI had become so politicized under the Obama administration that they were literally using campaign information paid for by the Democratic Party, and they were dressing it up as an intelligence document and then using that as a basis to undermine the president. That is what is so problematic. We can't have people's campaign activities bleed over into the official acts of the FBI. In this case, that very well may have happened.
So much swirling a year after that dossier was first published. Congressman Matt Gaetz, Republican of Florida, we thank you for your time today.